Hey guys, what is up? Hope everybody has been having a wonderful day. I'm super excited to be coming at you guys with a really special video. 18 holes from the tips at Hazeltine National. This was actually less than 1 week after the US Amateur was conducted here. And so I knew I was in for a very, very difficult challenge the entire day. They still had the rough quite high, and yeah, it was an incredible challenge, and I really enjoyed seeing how I would stack up with some of the top amateurs in the world. So you guys saw there, 7,700 yards long. It had just rained that morning, so it was very wet, probably wet enough to mandate lift clean in place. So the course is playing even longer. So if you guys are excited to see videos like this and you really enjoy it, please be sure to click the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. It really does motivate me to continue making content. And yeah, if you guys enjoy this 18-hole format versus 9 holes, let me know. I feel like this might be a little easier to help everybody digest the entire course instead of cutting it up into 9-hole videos. So just let me know if that's something you guys would like to see more of in the future. And yeah, so you can see my approach shot here, a little bit short, hit the exact shot I wanted to, hit the front edge of the green and spun back. And that will be a theme, meaning that these greens are very difficult to hold. And so I knew that I would be in for a significant challenge. And but you know what? I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that kind of golf because I feel like it really forces me to focus and dial things in. So I'm left with about a 12-footer here for par to get things started off on the right foot. And just a beautiful putt. And I'm sure you guys have noticed this. If you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you guys already know I switched to a claw grip, and that has really helped me incredibly with my stroke. I feel like I got a little bit of the yips over the last 6 to 8 months, and I just think, you know, that right hand just sometimes jolts a little bit at impact and causes me to rotate the face too much. So that claw grip has really helped stabilize my stroke, and it's improved my game tremendously. So I also had a caddy for this round, so that really helped out a ton, and he did a great job with my reads and all that. I think I had 29 putts, and if I'm able to keep my putts under 30 per round, I know I'm going to be very dangerous because I believe pretty much every round I'm going to gain shots off the tee just based on my distance alone. So if I can keep things around the greens pretty close to everybody else, it'll give me a huge advantage. So 142 here, a bit of a liver sitting up. So played a bit of a sawed-off shot. Just managed to clear this trap, and the ball ran out really nicely to the back edge of the green. And you can see it cleared the bunker by about maybe 3 to 5 yards. And ran out towards the back, gave me about a 15, 18-footer left for birdie. But, yeah, guys, I mean, you know, I haven't posted a ton of long-form content on YouTube, but it's definitely something I plan on getting into more this winter. Frankly, I've just been working my butt off in my golf game because I want to play in the PGA Tour, and I want to play a high level of professional golf on top of content creation. So I'm just trying to manage my time as best as I can between the platforms. And, you know, I really hope that in the coming months and years, I can give you guys something really exciting to watch, not just on YouTube, but on TV. It would really be something that I'm really shooting for. And I'll tell you guys, I am starting to play really, really well. Now, whether that will translate good into tournament play immediately, I don't know. Because when you play competitive golf, it's definitely a different type of golf. And your body feels different, and you got to adjust to the different timing and pacing. But my raw game right now, and I feel very comfortable saying this, feels better than it's ever felt, including college. So I really don't feel that far off at all, and I'm excited to see how competition goes this winter. And frankly, I'm just really excited to go through the process and see how good I can get at this game. So 265 left, and just hit one of my best shots all day. I had just enough ball that I could hit where I could get a little bit of side spin on it and get it to turn over. A little bit short, but definitely not a bad leave at all. That's the place to miss. And obviously, it was very, very tough playing this course first time around. I believe in the USAM, they played, for the 36-hole qualifying for the match play, they played one round at, the name of the course escapes me, but it was a public course nearby, and then they played one round here. And the scoring average for the round played on this course was in the, I think, 76.3. So it just gives you guys an indication of how difficult this course played. Now, to be fair, the rough was definitely even higher than it is now for the AM, but also I was playing about 300 yards back where the tournament was, so I feel like they canceled each other out. Now, of course, the big difference besides that is they were all playing with competitive pressure, and I was just playing, at my own pace, and that definitely plays a factor. But still, I felt like this is a very good proxy for how my game was, and a good test. So after a really good birdie on the third hole, got about maybe 25 feet here on this par 3. And again, just a beautiful landscape. Minnesota golf really is beautiful. And I've known about this course for a long time, and I'm really glad I got a chance to play it. So I got about a 25 to 30 footer here, very slippery putt. Greens were a little slower because a huge storm had hit the night before. So they weren't able to really mow the greens as tight as they normally do. So I don't know if that made things easier or tougher, because honestly I missed a lot of putts short. But definitely something to keep in mind. So a solid 3 there, nothing I can be upset about. I will take 1 under after the first 4 holes every day of the week. Now on hole 5, 448-yard par 4. And just going to smoke it with the driver right over the corner of that fairway. Probably one of my best tee shots all day. One of the big things I've been working on with my driver, and I think this is why I played so well today, I have a tendency when my swing gets a bit long, my first move is to kind of throw my trail elbow over the ball. So like I'll cast it and I'll come from the outside and kind of wipe it a bit. So I've gotten a little bit better at dropping the club a little bit into the slot at the top of my swing and hitting the ball from the inside. And I think that's really helped me have a little more control over the driver and has made it a very, very dangerous weapon. And here, I just left the shot a little short. I am dealing with some growing pains with regards to those 50 to 80-yard shots. I've been keeping stats on Birdie Fire and GameForge, and the clear issue for me right now is 50 to 80 yards, and then inside of 5 feet is still a struggle point, but not as bad as it used to be. So those are the 2 spots I'm losing the majority of my shots on, and it's just about getting that feel. And that takes time, but at the same time, I'm very, very confident with where my game's heading, and I feel like I'm in a very, very good space with, how I feel about my game. I'm just enjoying golf more than I ever have. So 1 under through 5, definitely not a bad start. Now on hole 6, 405 yards. This is definitely going to be a shot where you play for placement. And I'll tell you what, guys, that's quite a tough, tight little shoot right there. You got to kind of play almost a little bit of a fade here to avoid catching those trees on the right. Hit an absolutely perfect tee shot, just aiming it at the right edge of that tree line, just letting it rise over. Went a little far. I probably should have hit a little less club here, but again, this is just part of playing the course for the first time. And again, I won't spoil the score, but I was very proud of how I played, because it's tough playing these courses for the first time. But I will also say that it's been good because I can kind of have a more legitimate handicap, I think, because I'm posting courses, not just my home course, but also away course where I'm playing for the first time. So this shot got dangerously close to flirting with the water. Fortunately, it got just enough air to carry and ran out a little bit long, but not a terrible shot. Probably about a 35-footer left for birdie here. And just so you guys are curious, I'm sure you guys are curious, my current USGA GHIN index as the time of this recording stands at a plus 4.7. It was actually a plus 5.8 at its lowest. But as you enter more scores, they take a higher percentage of your scores and average out the scoring differential. So, frankly, I thought I would come in at about a plus 2 to plus 3. So I was pleasantly surprised that it came in as low as it did. Will I be able to maintain the plus 4? I feel like right now I'm closer to a plus 3 than I'm a plus 4, but I don't feel like I'm that far off. And at this point, I have like 15 scores in my index. So I feel like I'm pretty close to a plus 4 at this point. And obviously the goal is to this winter and, in the coming months and years to turn that, casual plus 4.5 handicap into a competitive plus 5 or plus 6 handicap, which is, where I need to be if I want to play well professionally. So on to the next hole. Par 5, really got aggressive. Got a little wipey with this one. That is my tendency. Missed to the right, but got a good break. Kind of caught a nice little gap in the trees here. Water is to the left, so I had to be very careful with the ball kind of getting tugged to the left by this grass. So I played to the right edge of the green here and just kind of, I don't want to say I purposely missed right, but I definitely didn't want to leave the door open for the golf ball to go into the water at this stage. So this was not a bad shot at all, just into this rough here. And I don't know what was going on. My chipping's been great lately, but I'll be the first to admit my chipping sucked today. And, you know, the grass wasn't as super tall, but what I will never forget is how lush and thick this Kentucky bluegrass was. And I just could not do anything with it. It just seemed that the ball always came out hotter or slower than I anticipated, and I just could not get my touch around these greens. Had I gotten my touch around these greens with the wedges, you know, like greenside, I probably would have – it would have been one of the best rounds of the entire year easily. I mean, it could have been pretty far into the 60s, if I'm being honest. So definitely not my best putt there. A quite disappointing par, because if there was ever a breather hole on this course, it was this one. Still wouldn't consider it much of a breather hole, but you definitely want to make a 4 there. Now on to the next hole. And this was straight into a headwind, about 190-something yards. It should pop up in a second. Okay, 171. Felt like 190. But you literally could not miss anywhere here. The green falls away on the right into the water. So I hit an awesome shot here. Just the wind being straight into you, it just causes that ball. If there's any spin axis tilt at all, it will fall left or right. And a great shot, great distance here, just into that sand trap. I mean, really, that's where you have to play it. You cannot go at this pin. I mean, just this water is so brutal because you're going to be dropping in a very tough spot hitting your third shot. So, to be honest with you guys, this is the hole I remember as just the most impossible hole, because I don't know how you play this hole. You can't bail out anywhere. And so I feel like I played this hole about as good as I could. Hit a really great bunker shot off of a tight lie with not a lot of green to work with, and got it to cut and spin back pretty good. And again, the hole's still not over. You got 4 feet, and you got to take it outside the hole. So I'm sure that hole at the USAM played to well over a 3-stroke average. Definitely not an easy hole. In fact, I would even say that might be the hardest hole in the front 9. So another nice look at 9 here. And again, my caddy just told me to swing away into the wind off the left, but I knew if I hit it hard enough, I should carry these bunkers. So I'm flirting up the edge of the bunker, and I'm kind of just, it's right on the corner. And I get that little very welcome kick on the downslope of the bunker, so it just carried and ran out pretty nicely. In absolute prime position here. You guys can see it just carried that last bunker and kicked to the right. So 88 yards here, off the wind off the left end. Bit of a hanging lie. This has been a struggle point for me over the last couple of months, but I have gotten much better off those hanging lies. I just try to maybe lift the handle of the wedge a little bit to match the slope, so it's a more natural shot. Hit an absolutely perfect shot in here. Absolute dime to 4 feet. Couldn't have been better. And it was a tough pin location all the way back there, so felt really good about getting it all the way back. You can see the pitch mark, just a nice little bounce and spin back. Pretty little clubhouse, and it's really just a beautiful plot of land. I don't know what else to say. Definitely worthy of hosting some big major championships in the future. So here, just about 4 feet. I think I take this. I don't know if I quite take this outside the hole, but I think right at the edge. Yeah, and it just falls in. Absolutely stellar front 9, and I really can't say too much about that. Made a few mistakes around the greens, but it's golf. It's going to happen. I really can't say too much bad about that front 9. So now to hole 10. Again, just a hole you want to lay up on to the corner of the dog leg. Absolutely perfect drive here. right to the corner. I actually hit a driver for fun. There's a line you can take directly over the green, and I absolutely melted it. But I think I actually carried it over the green because there's only like 365 on a direct line. As you guys can see, it's downhill. So I think I hit it a little too far. So 155 yards here, hitting my 48-degree wedge. Really not a hard shot. Just got to make sure you don't go long. And I do feel like I'm sometimes a little timid on these shots. And you can see here, got a little under it, behind it, and scoopy with it. I got lucky here, landed on that little collar of rough and kicked dead left, so I did get a putt at it at least. But I just think sometimes I get a little timid over shots that I perceive to be easy. I don't know if it's just getting lazy or just letting my guard down, but it definitely happens more than it should. So as a result, I'm fighting for par here instead of going for birdie. I got about a 50-footer, and this putt was definitely a lot tougher from my vantage point than the camera makes it look. It was a little light on the pace there. Not a terrible putt, but definitely wish I didn't have this much left. I probably have about 5 feet. So I think our read here was right edge with a little bit of a break. And another great putt. And I can't say enough how much of a game changer it's been to switch to that claw grip, because I feel like 90% of my putts now are starting at least somewhat in the right direction. And what I was dealing with a couple months ago, like I'd be over a 4-footer and I would think I had maybe a 50-50 shot of the putt even started on the line I wanted it to. And when you feel like that over a putt, it's just terrible. I mean, it wrecks your confidence and really gets in your head. And now I almost, not that I ever would take for granted a putt like that, but I feel like if I get the right read, you know, I'm probably going to make it. And that's a great feeling. So now into hole 11, another 600-yard par 5. There are 3 of those on this course. So just goes to show how brutal of a course this is. And so a little bit blocked out by the trees, but I'm just going to play a bit of a fade, pretty much the opposite shot to what I hit on hole 3 into that par 5. Hit a perfect shot. The ball just kind of jumped on me. Ball landed on the back edge of green and bounced over. Not a bad leave at all. But you guys can see kind of how that rough is just the biggest thing I saw about with this rough. I actually could see me stepping around in it. The grass was like pushed both ways, if that makes sense. So the one thing about rough that can make it a little easier to manage is if the grass is all growing in one direction. But when you have rough like this, where it just grows in 6 different directions, it makes it very difficult over the course of the round to get a feel for how the ball will come out, because you're just not hitting the same shot. And so this one, again, just came out a little too hot. But when you're around the greens, you have to create speed with the wedge, or it's going to go up 2 feet when you have these kinds of lies. So it's just going to happen from time to time. And have about 15 feet. And I think I leave this one short. It was the right read, just a little short. I never really did a good job all day of adjusting to the pace. So that definitely cost me a shot or 2 as well. And so I know if I could have been able to adjust to that a little better, it would have definitely made my score even lower. So now to hole 12, 518-yard par 4. And I actually think a really good way to demonstrate how brutal this course was, there were more, I mean, honestly, like the fact that there were 4 holes on this course that were either 500-yard par 4s or 600-plus-yard par 5s. That's just crazy to me. But absolutely melted this one. Just probably my best drive all day. If not, it's one of the 2 or 3 best. And quickly cut this hole down to size. And I think I'll have about something in the 140s left here. But I sometimes feel like the 500-yard par 4 is actually played to my advantage, because I feel like I can just rip it. And I'm like, I might as well. I can't hit a 1-iron. I'm still going to have 200 yards left if I do that. So 143 yards left here, and just I hit an absolutely dreadful shot. I feel like I just got a little quick on the transition, and this ball never really had a chance. It was bunker all the way. Fortunately, did filter down, so I had a pretty clean lie. And not the worst spot, honestly. I will say the one good thing was the bunkers were pretty consistent, so I was able to get a pretty good feel for them all day. And the way it would just come out pretty low with a little bit of spin and just kind of take a hack at it, and they were pretty consistent. So I have about 5 feet left here to save my 4. Again, just, a little bit of break, but I really, my caddy was doing a great job giving me reads, and I don't know, I just felt really comfortable, and I feel like just my stroke feels good, and these putts don't feel hard to make. So on to the next hole. Definitely a very tricky par 3 here. Probably, in my opinion, the hardest hole on the back. Hole 13. So there is a lake to the left. And at this point, I feel very good about my round. And I feel like I've been doing a lot of good stuff. And, it's pretty cool to, see how the game stacks up compared to the guys who played the USAM. Albeit, of course, the USAM was played under, much more strenuous conditions, but I feel like over time I'll be able to adapt to that better and better. Now, unfortunately, I made a mistake here, pulled it in the water. Probably my first real mistake of the round. I didn't hit that bad of a shot. I mean, from 250 yards out, that's not a huge miss. I just got a little quick on it. The club got there a little too fast, and just a small miss that missed in a bad spot. And if I had to be really nitpicky, that's definitely one of the things that I need to get much better at, is being able to miss those shots in the right position. Because missing it by that much is not something that should disqualify you from being able to make a par in the hole. So got about 3 feet here to clean up my bogey. I got another really, really good putt. Just as I said earlier, really feeling comfortable on the greens. That claw grip has really changed the game for me. I can't say enough about it. So on hole 14, probably the first actual drivable hole. It was really nice to see something, under 400 yards on the card, which was a very welcome sight. Decided to play driver here up that little chute. And by the way, guys, that gap between the two trees was much narrower than it looks on the screen. And bled out a little bit to the right. There is OB to the right, but the ball landed quite softly, so I was in pretty good shape here. You guys can really see just how tough that rough is. And I don't know if I said this earlier in the video, but what made this rough so tough, yes, it was extremely thick, but it grew in all different directions. And when you play a golf course, you can kind of get dialed in to the rough if it's growing in a certain direction, because the club will react much more consistently. But when you have the rough growing in all kinds of directions, it's really hard to zero in on touch and feel for a certain shot, and I just really couldn't do much around the greens at all today, and that definitely cost me a ton of strokes. So this ran through the green into the first cut. So now all of a sudden what looked like could be an easy birdie hole is now, I'm scrambling for par. And when you get these opportunities at Hazeltine National, you have to be making these birdies. So got about, again, another 3 or 4 footer here to save par. Another great putt, another good stroke. So was able to minimize the damage there. And on the hole 15, 642-yard par 5. Definitely a monster hole by any stretch of the imagination. And you guys can just see how pretty the entire course looks. And it really was a cool experience to play this, within a week after the U.S. Amateur. And I could definitely tell that this is definitely a very difficult test of golf. So pull this one left. There was OB to the right, and you really had you had an entire hole to the left of this fairway. So I knew that was where I was gonna make an effort to miss it, and not a bad lead, frankly. Cut the hole off a little bit, so just had to hit a bit of a long iron over those trees. So I'm gonna hit a bit of a fade, let the ball rise against the backdrop of those trees, and fall to the right. Hit a pretty good shot here, a little bit wipey, but again, not a terrible miss at all. There was a decent amount of room to the right. This was into a headwind, so it definitely pushed that further than normal. So not a bad spot here at all. Really a pretty easy pitch shot. And just going to try to let this chase up. Got a little bit under it, and the ball landed much more dead than I expected. So again, just another very mediocre chip shot. Just been having that happen a lot, frankly. So another 15, 18 footer for birdie. Really need to be getting these closer and giving myself better opportunities. But that's definitely something I need to work on. Not a bad putt here, honestly. Just broke a little less than expected. So, still in red numbers through 15 holes. Definitely a lot better than I expected. And now we're on to hole 16, 382-yard par 4. Definitely intimidating to look at. Pretty much just had to throw it right at that collection of rough behind the fairway. And so that was kind of my plan. A bit of a headwind here, so I was just going to, send it, make a confident swing, and let it go. Yeah, probably hit one of my best drives of the day here, just exactly where my caddy told me to put it. Figured it would be best just to hit driver because I didn't want to bring in any of the water and play on the right. It kind of cuts in a little close if you don't hit it far enough. So pretty much exactly where we wanted to put it in this rough, but really it should be a quite manageable shot with this pin location. And you can see there the tee box. There's actually two tiers there, so obviously went with the higher tier for today for filming purposes. So 55 yards here. Just want to fly this about maybe 48 or so onto the green and just let it run out. And unfortunately, just made a really stupid mistake here. Made my swing that I would normally make from the fairway, which was a pretty shallow swing. And obviously when you have the fairway, it's fine to be shallow because there's not grass that's going to grab the club. But when you're in very steep rough, very thick rough, you have to be steep to come in and clip that ball. So another mistake around the greens. And it is frustrating to make these mistakes, but at the same time it's motivating because, I can see the potential. I can see what my game could be if I can just make these basic up and downs. And it's exciting because I know it's a very elite level. And so just going to keep striving to hit that mark. And frankly, hit a solid putt here, just a bit of a misread. So that'll happen when you leave yourself those putts for sure. So on to 17, a little under 200-yard par 3. But really just an absolutely beautiful course. I really had so much fun playing this course from beginning to end. So a bit of a tailwind off the left, I believe. So I'm going to hit a pitching wedge. The ball just kind of started falling a little bit too far to the left here towards the end of its flight and landed on the back edge of green, took one big hop and went long. So that's definitely not optimal, but again, at least I do have some green to work with, so I can't complain too much. So I'm going to rock with the lob wedge here. Tons of green to work with. My main goal here is just to get this thing out on the green. This was a very difficult lie just with the way the grass was sloped. You guys can see how much that's grabbing my club and how much resistance that's giving me. So definitely not easy. I left myself about, I'd say 10, 12 feet to save par here. Can't really be too mad at that chip considering the lie I had, so I'll take it. But this one was definitely going to slide quite a bit, so I really had to make a commitment to the line and pace here. So I was going to roll this quite firmly and just only take it out of the hole maybe a ball and a half and just commit to the line. And that's exactly what I did and hit an absolutely perfect putt. So I felt really good to get out of there with a 3. And I'm feeling great. My goal was to shoot something under 75. That's really what my goal was. I felt that would be amazing. And to be standing on 18 and even par for the round, first time seeing the course, was a nice feeling. Even if it was, a casual round for fun, it still was important. And then I just hit the absolute worst tee shot by a mile I've hit all day today. Fortunately for me, hole 9 is exactly where that ball went. So got away with that one a little bit there. I am in the fairway bunker on hole 9. That went about 120 yards left of my target. And that is an issue I run into from time to time. And I don't know if it's really I don't know how much control you have over avoiding a shot like that once in a while when you swing 140 miles an hour. So I'll have to look into potentially a shorter shaft or a mini driver because I've been thinking maybe reducing my club speed into the mid 130s might help circumvent those shots, because they are absolute killers for me. So that's ended up pulling it a bit left, but can't be too mad at this result. I'm just glad I got it around the green, frankly. And again, I know it looks like the ball's sitting up, but this really is just thick stuff. You can see the grass just kind of has zero give, and I just go right under this one. Really tried to get aggressive to hit this one close, and got a little too close to the sun there, and it was about maybe 3-4 yards short of where I needed to land it. So I'm going to try to bump this one up, and should have definitely used the lob wedge again. This thing came out absolutely lightning fast, and yeah, definitely making a mess of this last hole, but, you know, I figured it was only a matter of time before something like this would happen. At the very least, it happened on the last hole. So got about 25 feet for bogey to shoot a 73, and I definitely wasn't going to leave this one short. Probably was the right read if I had better pace, but I was not going to lie, I was a bit on tilt at this point, so I was just kind of letting it rip. And so I just kind of go up and just brush this one in. So end up with a 74. Can't complain about it too much. So really had a ton of fun playing Hazeltine. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. It was a lot of fun playing a championship golf course. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, please be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will be back at you guys with another video soon. Talk to you guys later.